What up, guys? It's your boy, Grizzly Martian, just chilling by the fire. Because last time I did one of these, I really liked it because I was kind of talking about like conspiracy type of stuff and weird things and stuff that's a little bit out there. And so, I don't know, the whole vibe of the crackling fire in the background and dim lighting and stuff, I kind of like it for anytime I happen to get into like conspiracy stuff or just weird stuff or alien stuff or whatever. Just different things like that. I'm probably just gonna start doing the Grizzly Martian show, but fireside chats. That way, you guys will know these ones are the conspiracy ones. If you're only into the conspiracy stuff, look out for the fireside chats. Sick. But how are you guys doing? I am doing good. I just made a pot of coffee and I got it in my Master Chief mug. So things are pretty good. Shit. I was trying to see, because I have Shakira in her room right now, but I have a candle right there. And I'm worried she's just gonna knock it over. But she's crying like a little baby. So I might let her out and see how she behaves. What do you guys think? Really? You think I should give her a shot? Wow. Okay. I'll go get her. Alright. I mean, it should be okay, guys. We'll keep an extra eye out, alright? You guys help me. But so there's and maybe I don't know where these Grizzly Martian show, I don't know what I'm gonna really talk about, and I don't know where it's gonna go. Maybe I know what I'm gonna talk about, but I never know where the conversations will end up. So, but I do know that I have this out because I kind of wanted to get into this. I don't know if any of you guys are into reading, but if you're not into reading, you might want to start. And if you're into conspiracies, this would be a good place to start because it's an awesome book. It was written by Tom O'Neill, and he was a writer for a magazine article called Premiere, and he worked in California, and they were coming up on like the 30-year anniversary or something, or 20-year anniversary of the Manson murders, of the Sharon Tate murders at the what's his name? Sharon Tate's husband, I can't think of his name. At their house, and so the anniversary was coming up, and this magazine company that he worked for, they wanted him to write an article on the Manson murders. And because they had a big impact on Hollywood because it was in like a really fancy rich neighborhood where the actors and stuff, like the house that it happened at, dude, I have to, what's his fucking name, dude? God damn it. What's his name? Stop it. I'm gonna put you back in your room if you can't chill. Roman Polanski, son of a bitch. That son of a bitch, Roman Polanski, dude. He was a filmmaker, and he was a piece of shit, and he was married to Sharon Tate. And he owned a house that the murders happened at. This house used to belong to a dude that was in the Beach Boys. I forget his name. He wasn't... I mean... I was trying to look for his name. I think it was Thomas Melcher. But a lot of this stuff, I might forget people's names and stuff, but I'm going to kind of just try to give you the gist of it. So, this house that it happened at, it was a very popular house. A lot of people knew about this house, and it was not only by Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate that owned it currently, but the previous owners, who I think was Thomas Melcher, he was part of the Beach Boys, and it was like a party house then too, and then it kind of got passed down with the Polanskis as the same thing, and they just kept it going, and so it made a big impact on Hollywood because it was very calculated. The house, the people, the victims, the targets, like everything they were doing, it was very planned and meticulous and calculated. And it made a big statement to the people of Hollywood because they felt so safe and secure and like behind all these tall gates and brick walls and all this stuff to keep them secure, and that's what they think. But then this shit happens where Tex Watson, a couple other girls, it was 3 or 4 people that did the murders at the Tate house. And I mean, so this book, I mean, I'm kind of, maybe I'm not doing that good of a job explaining it, but because it's just, well, I guess that's the thing. Because there's so much information packed into this book, which I really like, because he's not really giving you his theory on what happened, really. He kind of thinks there's some shady stuff going on, obviously, but he will not assume anything. He just keeps finding weird evidence and getting like FOIA requests and getting interviews with people and getting documents like retrieved and stuff and getting receipts on all this shit. And the farther he goes down this rabbit hole and keeps digging and digging, it gets weirder and weirder, and like, the whole... So there is like a weird connection between Charles Manson and he has no direct connection to the CIA. That's the weird thing too, honestly, because he has just so many tentative connections. They're not really solid, but he's just in these places. He's always surrounded by weird stuff that just happens to be going on around him. And he received a lot of leniency. He was in trouble with the law at the time, before the murders even happened. He was on parole for Grand Theft Auto, and he got out, and his parole officer was this dude. I forget his name. There's two different people and they have the same name. But this one I'm talking about is his parole officer. And so this was happening in Berkeley, California at the time. And I forget where he lived, but he had to go all the way outside of his county and everything and go travel to Berkeley to go meet with his parole officer, his parole officer was doing experiments on mice at the time because he was like a scientist at Berkeley, but also a parole officer. He was doing experiments on mice on the effects of amphetamines and I'm pretty sure hallucinogens, and how it would affect the violence in these mice. And he was also checking in on Charles Manson once a month. They were at the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic. That's where he was meeting him, and he would bring the girls that were part of the family, and they would go in and get like STD checks, and they would get like some medical stuff for all of that taken care of at the same time. And so it was really weird. And so okay, he's got his parole officer's doing that weird stuff. And then also at the same time, there is another scientist that's working at the same clinic, and his name is Jolly West. And he's a really fun dude because he was one of the top MK Ultra scientists. And so he's just chilling at the same place. They're not talking, they don't even know each other exist, right? But just all coincidence. And so he's one of the top scientists for mind control and for human experiments. And I mean, they were doing tests on everything from like using drugs like LSD to even doing like cold treatment and like shock therapy and hypnosis, and they were trying their ultimate goals with the MK Ultra stuff. They were trying to implant memories into whoever and implant them with the victim being unsuspecting that it was not their own memory. and they were actually successful with this. He was doing all of this weird stuff, and he was at the same place that Manson was doing all of this. He worked with Jolly West, the scientist, worked with the CIA, obviously. If you don't know, that's what MK Ultra comes from. So, and and I just blew through like a lot of stuff in the book, but like, dude, there's so many weird things that happen, and I mean, when you if you follow any shit like this and you know what the government has done and what they do and what they're probably doing and have done for years, it all it's not very surprising. It all kind of adds up. They're usually pretty good. All of this stuff about MK Ultra, about all these human experiments, we only know about all this because it came out through a whistleblower. They were trying to destroy all of these documents and all of this stuff that they had about what happened and the results that they got. If that whistleblower didn't come out, they would have never told anybody, dude. How many things do you think the whistleblowers actually never did come out? They're doing so much crazy, weird, creepy shit behind the scenes. This book does a good job of breaking it all down and just kind of giving you the facts and letting you make the decision on what the fuck you think is actually going on. Because Charles Manson was basically doing what the mission objective of MK Ultra was setting out to do. He was drugging his family, his followers. He was trying to like implant messages and ideas and thoughts and like subliminally and just outright. He was trying to manipulate them and brainwash them to commit acts of violence. And, well, what the CIA was doing and what Charles Manson was doing, well, those go together like peanut butter and jelly. So, not saying anything, but I'm just saying, gosh darn it, that is so strange. So, it's been a while since I've read the book, obviously, because I'm forgetting a lot of stuff and names and things, but I kind of want to go back through it. It's a really good book. It's an awesome read. I got through it really quick, like in 3 days or something, 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'll, because there's a lot of parts to this book, so maybe I'll like break down different sections of it or something if you guys like this, or I don't know. Yeah. And if you guys like the Fireside chat things, maybe I'll start doing more of these too. Alright guys, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the book is Chaos by Tom O'Neill. Cool. Alright guys. Peace.